Hello and welcome to the GameDev Outpost. In this video, we'll be exporting 3D from Maya into Unreal 4. An important thing about Maya is that the grid is absolute. So whenever you change the grid, your model isn't going to change. What's important now is that you build your model to real-world scale, or at least a consistent unit. Now there's two things we need to do before we export. We need the delete history and we need the freeze transforms. To delete history, we want to go up to Edit, Delete by Type, or Delete All by Type, and we want to click on History. Now to freeze transforms, we want to go to Modify, Freeze Transforms, and we want to click on the option box. And in here, you want to turn on Translate, Rotate, and Scale. And then you want to click on Freeze Transform. What this will do is it'll make sure that it zeroes out all of your transforms so that we have usable numbers in the engine to work with. And now we're ready to export. So we'll select our model, and we'll go up to File, Export Selection, and then you want to navigate to where you want to save this. I'm going to save this in a source art folder, and then you want to give it a name. After that, we want to give it a file type. Now Unreal has two file types that it'll accept, FBX and OBJ. So if we click on this drop down and look for FBX or OBJ, you might notice that it's not in here. And that's okay. You most likely don't have the plugins enabled. So let's go and enable those. We want to go to Windows, Settings and Preferences, Plugin Manager, and then we want to search for OBJ, and we want to click these tick boxes, and then we want to search for FBX. And we want to enable FBX Maya, and then we can close this window. Now if we go back and export, you should see that OBJ and FBX are both enabled. So we'll start with FBX. So in the FBX settings, there's a few things that I want to point out. So under Include Geometry, you want to make sure that you have smoothing groups turned on. This will make sure that your model retains its hard edges and its smooth edges that you gave it. And then Triangulate, this is something that I recommend not turning on. If you need to triangulate your model, you should do it before exporting. Now if we scroll down and we go to Advanced Options under Units, we want to make sure that Automatic is not ticked on and the file units converted to, we want centimeters. This way Unreal will interpret the model at the correct units. And then that's it. We can export. Now once again, you could save your file directly to the project, and right now Unreal would ask you if you want to import it. But when you import something into Unreal, it also retains the location of where you imported it from. So this way you can have a source art folder and you can have a project folder. We're going to click on Import, we're going to navigate to where we saved it, and then we're going to open it up. And from here we'll get our import window. Now Unreal usually does a good job of interpreting your file, but the main thing that we want enabled is Convert Scene. And then under Materials, we want to make sure that we're not creating materials and we're not importing any textures. And then we'll import. Now to make sure that this came in at the right scale, we're going to drag this asset out and we're going to set it between two of these checker marks. This default floor, each one of these boxes is a meter. So this asset in here is 2 by 2 meters. And then in Maya, I have my grid set to meters as well. And this is 2 by 2. So it's correct. And then if we zero it out, we can see it doesn't have any weird transforms on it. So this is also correct. Now let's go back to Maya and we'll export in OBJ. Navigate to where you want to save it, give it a name, and then we'll change its file type to OBJ. Now with OBJ, you don't really have a lot of export options, and you don't have any control over the unit. So we'll leave it default and we'll click on Export. And then we'll come back to Unreal, and we'll go to Import, and we'll open up the OBJ, and we'll drag it out. And you'll see that this scale is also correct. Now, even though you don't have any control over the units on export, Unreal already has a good understanding of the file type and what program it's coming from. So it ends up interpreting it correctly. Now, even though OBJ worked out fine, I actually don't recommend using it at all. It's an outdated file type, and you have less control than what you do with FBX. Alright guys, that covers exporting 3D from Maya into Unreal 4. If you guys thought this video was useful, please let me know by commenting down below and liking the video. Thanks guys.